Ladies and gentlemen, before I start this video, listen, we need to break this YouTube algorithm, all right? We need to break it. So this is what I'm going to ask, and this is what I'm going to do. If this video, within the next 2 days from me posting it, within 48 hours from me posting it, this video gets 5,000 likes, all right? I will donate $500, because that's all that I can afford, $500 to the Fairbanks RCPC. And RCPC stands for Resource Center for Parents and Children, and it is a place where parents and children that need help can go to, where they can be safe. This place takes care of their community. So I will donate $500 to the RCPC if we get 5,000 likes, because we need to break the YouTube algorithm. Why? Because the word needs to get out. Now, I hope that you enjoy this video. It is about the reality that we are now living as not only Americans, but as world citizens, having to deal with the inflation that has been created by our lovely governments. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like my 4th video today. And this is what the Alaska Prepper does when it's rainy outside and the weather is not conducive to doing anything outside. So when you see me wear the same shirt, for like the 4th or 5th video in a row, that's why, okay? Because I've had people ask before, are you wearing the same shirt you did yesterday? And I was like, well, it's the same shirt, but it's during the same day that I shot that video. But anyways, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to do a reaction video. I think I've maybe done 3 reaction videos in the entire time that I've been on YouTube. But this is a reaction video, ladies and gentlemen, that is kind of like a compilation of what not only myself, but many other YouTubers have been talking about.
Hey, I have a question. How are we, like, affording life right now?
This is how cold it is in my flat right now. Can you see? I can actually see my breath.
Did you see that, ladies and gentlemen? This was December of 2022. This is just this last winter. And I remember doing videos about this, saying that people in the UK, because they were having that fuel crisis because of the sanctions, that a lot of them were going to have to decide whether they were going to eat or whether they were going to heat their homes. Well, it seems here that this poor soul decided to have some food and not heat her home, because you can see her breath inside of her home. And this year, thank goodness, it's supposed to be, or it has been predicted to be, a warmer winter. But we are going to see this all over again. Why? Because of the policies that our politicians or elected officials pass on our behalf that they don't have to abide by.
The government literally announces that aliens exist and nobody is fazed.
Unless there's money to be made in extraterrestrial beings being among us, nobody is going to care. Because 60 to 70% of Americans are now just trying to keep their nose above the waterline so that they can survive. That is what inflation does to a nation. It makes them not care or give a darn about anything that's going on, because all they can care about and think about is just surviving.
That is literally because nobody is getting paid enough to care. Come here. At this point, we're tired of living through historical events like every other week, right? Rent too high, groceries too expensive, gas way too pricey, right? It is like the 4th day in a row where it's been 110 degrees. The alien thing is like on the back of the list.
I get up every morning at 4:30. I let my dog out, feed him, get him situated, play with him for a little bit. 5 o'clock, I start getting ready for work. Get ready for work, I'm out the door by 6. Sometimes I stop for breakfast, sometimes I don't, because I make it at home. I get here, my shift starts at 7 in the morning. I work from 7 to 4. Leave for the day, take me about 45 minutes to an hour to get home because of traffic. I do this every fucking day for 5 days a week, just to get a damn paycheck that leaves as soon as it hits my account. Don't get me wrong, my dude, he works sometimes 12-hour days. He come home, he hurting, he sore, he tired. I'm hurting, I'm mentally tired from dealing with people all damn day and their attitudes. I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want a new pair of scrubs. Or me and my dude want to go out for a nice dinner because we deserve it because we work hard. I don't drive a $100,000 car. I drive a regular ass fucking Jeep. He drives a regular damn SUV too.
I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want to buy some new clothes, this lady says. I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want to go out to dinner with my man. My paycheck is out of my account almost as soon as it's there, meaning that their bills are so tight that they barely earn enough to just keep their heads above water. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand this, that the importance of inflation to those who create it is that it will keep the working man and working woman poor. That is what inflation does. That is what a fiat monetary system does. And it is what was intended to do. This is not by happenstance. This is not because of the economy. This is not because of what the Federal Reserve says. This is not because of what the media pundits say on behalf of the government. This is not because of what the government pundits tell you. This was done on purpose. And as soon as people understand that they are not going to win in a fiat currency system, the better. What's the solution? I honestly don't know. Go check out Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo. Check out Gregory Manarino. Check out the Economic Ninja. Check out these other channels that teach you how to turn your fiat currency into more fiat currency so that you can at least stay above inflation. So I guess the solution is education, because as soon as you realize that you were not meant to win, the better it will be for you. As long as you're earning a wage or a salary, you will not be on the winning side. You will be on the side of the workers who will pay more than half of what they earned in their lifetime to someone else who never earned it or worked for it. I feel so sorry for this person. She is telling us that she is doing everything that she can do, but she can't do any more. And she's still stuck. What are we going to tell her? Get 3 jobs, get 4 jobs. Tell your husband to get 4, 5, get 6 jobs. It's still going to result in the same thing. You're still going to be poor and trying to keep your head above water.
Yes, my kids are grown adults. My oldest is 28, my youngest is 25. And I thought by teaching them what I learned, which is you work hard, you get a good job, you're going to get the things in life that you need, right? Worked for me, why wouldn't it work for them?
And isn't that what we were all taught, ladies and gentlemen? You work hard and you will be able to achieve the American dream. You know, there's still some validity to that, but it's getting less and less as we get more and more indebted, and as the government has less choice on where to recoup those tax dollars that they need in order to service the national debt. I hope that you're all getting ready for the big collapse that we will experience in our lifetimes.
Right? Worked for me, why wouldn't it work for them? Because it doesn't. Because the world has changed, all right? And now I feel like I see them struggling. And before my generation comes at me, yes, I understand struggling is a part of life. We all struggled. But there's a difference between struggling and drowning. All right? So we struggled and it was tough. But you know what? We made it. We knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel with our struggle. It seems like kids today, no matter how much they struggle, they just get further and further down the water into the drowning point. All right? When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour. And I can afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making 6-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live.
The goal is 2 things. To make the Western nations, i.e. the United States of America, Canada, all of the other Western nations, to make them into third world countries. Meaning that our standard of living is going to drop. And that in the end, when everything is said and done, we will have two classes. The classes of the overlords, all right, of the rich, and the classes of the serfs. And tell me, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't see that happening in front of your eyes. Another thing about what she says about the six-figure salary, that you can't even survive on a six-figure salary anymore. Here I'm thinking about my son and my daughter-in-law, all right? Between both of them, I'm not going to say how much they make. Honestly, I don't know exactly how much they make, but I know that they make well over six figures, right? Between both of them, they make well over six figures. They just now were able to purchase a small piece of land with cash because it's taken them over a year to be able to save up enough, with them making over six figures and only having one child, Michael. They don't drive fancy cars. My son and my daughter-in-law, they drive an old Hyundai, a 2008 Hyundai Elantra that I purchased brand new 15 years ago. Is it 15? Yeah, 15 years ago now, that I handed down to my son several years ago. They don't drive, they don't drive new cars. They drive that car that I handed down to him. They don't live fancy. And it's still going to be a struggle for them to be able to eke out a living if they want to live as free as they can, meaning to be able to put up a small home on a piece of property without having to go into debt for the next 30 years. Let's continue.
It's literally turning into the ultra wealthy, and then everybody else is just poor. Like, that's what is happening. And then I told him, hey, when you turn 25, at least your car insurance will go down. Hell no, he turned 25 and his car insurance went up $150. I tell him, you know, if you need health insurance, get a good job. He did, has health insurance. He has had a medical emergency this week. Had to go to emergency room twice. He had to go to the emergency room because he couldn't get anybody to see him with the health insurance that he had. Right? So he had to go to an emergency room. Now he's out money for that too. It seems like you can never get ahead. And then my daughter, I told her all you have to do because she wanted to buy her own house. My daughter worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day to save up enough for this down payment. Finally got this house. She's paid double what I'm paying for my mortgage, but her loan was the same amount.
So it's going to be more of a struggle for the younger generation to be able to become homeowners. And that thing that she was talking about, the hospital, excuse me, I actually know someone that, I don't know, about a year or so ago, maybe less, they had to go to the hospital because they felt really ill, and it was the weekend, so they had to go to the emergency room. And when they got there, it ended up that they had a UTI, a urinary tract infection, if I remember correctly. No problem. I believe they issued them some antibiotics, send them home. They were there for 2 hours, $4,500. What this lady is saying here about that the American dream is lost, I would say it's not lost, but man, I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a lot harder to achieve the American dream now than it has ever been.
And then her mortgage company, after she's already moved in, said, oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you that you need this type of coverage, which we forgot in the beginning. That's an extra $200 you'd be paying a month.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I keep interrupting, but I have to because I don't want to get a copyright strike. I don't know how this works when you're reacting to other videos. All right, I may have been I'm on YouTube for a long time now. I think going on 7 or 8 years, but I don't know any of the rules, ladies and gentlemen. But a lot of the things here that we've listened so far could be avoided if people were taught basic economics, if people were taught the basics on how the government works. See, these things are not taught in school anymore. And if they are, like, go check out Johnny Bravo. He used to be a high school teacher. He used to be a college professor. He used to try to teach these things, teach his kids in school how to trade and stuff like that. And he used to get in trouble for it. Schools don't want you to teach children how to be successful. They want to teach children how to regurgitate something that is in a book, and then how to take orders so that you can go to a factory or a plant somewhere and become a worker and earn money that the government can tax. Earn income that the government can tax. Because when you earn income, the government can tax it. When you are wealthy and you have assets, the government normally cannot tax those assets because all you do is take out a loan on those assets using them as collateral, and then you can live off the money that you took out on a loan, which is tax-free money. I'm sure it's more involved than that, but that's pretty much the skinny on how the rich stay rich. Is that everything they do is pretty much tax-free. They use debt in order to stay out of debt and stay wealthy. Children are not taught about economics. They are taught how to be workers and slaves. And let me go ahead and finish it off with this before we go on to the next portion of this video. And I don't know who said this. I don't know what quote it came from. I just remember it and I'm going to paraphrase it. But I read something a while back that said, the easiest way to enslave a people is to convince a people that they're not slaves. Look around.
Hi, I'm a disillusioned millennial who grew up believing in the American dream only to have it stolen from me by inflation. I thought I would have a house at this stage of my life. Instead, I'm watching memes about how the government discovered aliens. To be honest with you, I don't even care. Why? Because this stupid news isn't gonna help me buy a house. I digress. After sitting camera off through a bunch of meetings at work, I decided to take a quick Target break to make myself feel better. I went to Target to make myself feel better, but it only made me feel worse. Why? Because I ended up spending $70 on toothpaste, mouthwash, eggs, and leave-in conditioner. Just another reminder of why I can't buy a house. I decided to end the day binge watching Succession to disassociate from my miserable life.
What's really crazy about this is that I was talking to somebody who works at Walmart a few days ago. My friend told me that they have seen way more people stealing in the past month than they've seen in the whole 3 years that they've worked at Walmart. And I said, what do you guys do when they steal? And they said, we turn our backs because legally they can't do anything. Like, I'm not even surprised that people are stealing food at this point. People are literally starving out there. The only way we're making it is by couponing. So I'm not surprised that people are stealing food. And honestly, it's only going to get worse.
Hey, I have a question. How are we, like, affording life right now? So, for reference, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm a millennial. I have 3 young kids. Both my husband and I have full-time jobs. So, I'm a night shift nurse. I work full-time, and I work overtime. I've gotten pretty used to that. I work incentivized shifts, but my hours are getting cut at work because they don't need all the extra anymore. And so we're going through our budget because it's been quite tight. My husband also has a very decent paying job, makes almost as much as I do on the hour, not quite, but almost. And we're not going to, without me working overtime or working extra, like with me just working my normal hours, we're not sure that we're going to be able to make it. Like, somebody's going to have to pick up a second job, or we're going to have to do something. The house that we bought is, like, we don't live in an expensive area. We live in the Midwest. We bought this house in 2017. It's not anything extravagant. Our kids go to public school. We drive old cars. Like, we don't have student loans. We don't have excessive debt. Like how are we doing this right now? How are we, like our grocery bill is insane, and we don't even buy, we just buy to get us through week to week. Like, not even crazy stuff. Like, what? How are you guys doing this? How are we doing it? Because I'm not going to be able to. And I know how much I make, and I know how much my husband makes. And I used to think that was really, really good money. So how are people surviving on less than what we're making? And I used to think that was like a lot of money. Like, we're in the 6-figure range combined. And we're like barely, like I said, we're barely cutting it. And we're not extravagant people. Like, we don't have like recreational vehicles or anything. We don't go on vacations, nothing.
And that's why I'm such an advocate of preparedness. It's going to get worse. Remember, hit the like button. If this video gets 5,000 likes, and I know that's reaching, ladies and gentlemen, if this video gets 5,000 likes, let's say in the first 2 days, within 2 days after I post this video, if it gets 5,000 likes, I am going to make a $500 donation. I wish it could be more, but I will make a $500 donation to the RCPC. So hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can break the algorithm one time. Just one time in my YouTube career. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you did, and I can do a couple more of these. This is going to get worse. I cut this young lady off because she's very irritated on this video, and she just goes on cussing and cussing, and that's okay. It's how she feels, and I understand. I wish that we could be making videos about fluffy unicorns, flying over our houses and pooping some unicorn dust all over us and making everything pretty. I know that I'm trying to be a little sarcastic, but we have to, I guess, in times like this, make light of the lives that we're living, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because you need to prepare now, because things are going to get worse than they are now. Everything that we've watched on this video of all of the people's different stories, these are things that not only myself, but a lot of other YouTubers and personalities have talked about for years. Now I'm telling you right now, go buy your rice, go buy your beans, go buy your self-defense, go get your medication, get prepared, because it's not going to get any better anytime soon. It's going to continue to get worse. We are heading towards the finish line of this financial system that has been depriving us of our wealth for the last 110 years. And when it's finally over, I guarantee that you are going to know it. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a great day. God bless every one of you. God bless America. Do a little bit of prepping. I'm Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.